more Mad About Mini paper pads, and may I scrap lift you. So I just showed you the layout that I'm going to be scrap lifting today. Today's suggested person for scrap lifting is Catherine Blue. So she's Crafty Queen Cat on Instagram, so you can go and find her. I'll leave the link for her down below. And I grabbed this layout that I saw on her Instagram because I just love the smears, I guess you can call them, of acrylic paint. And because this month for Rediscover Your Stash, the theme is to get messy, and I've also put together this really fun kind of grungy kit because grunge is the theme for How to Kill a Kit with Style. I thought acrylic paint smears are perfect to work with both of those themes, so that's what I wanted to do. So you can see here I've just kind of gone through and I've pulled out a background paper and then a couple of these smaller papers. Those are the 6x8 papers that come in the paper stack from Cocoa Vanilla, and that one is the No Limit collection. And so those are my mini papers, and that's really the whole point about Mad About Mini paper pads, is to use up those mini paper pads that you have. So whether they are 6x6, 4x3, 6x8, 10x10, anything that isn't 12x12, kind of that standard 12x12 paper pad, that is what we're working towards using up. And I have to say, I've been using a lot of these papers this month just because they are in my kit. But every time that I do this series, I always try to show something that I like to do with mini paper pads. So I've done, just like different designs and like a grid design and that kind of stuff. And so I thought what I would do for this one is one of the techniques that I feel like I do all the time with my mini paper pads is I try to pick a couple of colors out of a pad that are complementary colors or just really good kind of neutral colors that help me highlight my photos. And then I use the mini papers as photo mats. And the reason that I like to do that is just because they are a bit smaller. So even a 6x6, like your 4x6 photo is going to fit on it pretty nicely and you can mat it really well. But the other thing that I really like about it is that usually on your mini paper pads, the patterns are a little bit smaller. And so you can actually cut them down and have a smaller frame around your photos and use them for layering and still actually see what the pattern is. So I think that that's really kind of fun because I don't know about you guys, but oftentimes if I'm matting my photos on a 12x12 paper, then I'm trying to figure out how to place my picture so that whatever pattern that I have in the background on the paper can kind of show just enough that you either completely get what that pattern is or you don't really see it at all, if that makes sense. And so with mini paper pads, everything's shrunk down a little bit. So all of the images, especially on little papers like this, all of the images, you can totally tell what they are, even with a really thin border around your pictures. So that's what I'm doing with my two pieces here. So that background paper is kind of the like messy acrylic smearing paper, and then I will use my pattern papers from my mini paper stack. I'm going to say stack because it technically wasn't a pad to mat my photos. So for the background, I did cut it down to 8.5 by 11 because this is a picture from 2022 and all of my pictures from that year are being done in 8.5 by 11. So I cut it down and then I just took some of those acrylic paint sprays that I have. I actually got those at Dollar Tree, if you can believe it. So I took some colors that I thought were sort of similar, kind of match what the collection has in it. And then I kind of sprayed them and smeared them. So in the original layout, there isn't a ton of blending. I definitely think that Catherine probably, let some of the colors dry in between adding the layers. I did a little bit. It doesn't look like I did that on camera, but I did kind of let them dry, or as I was smearing it across, I tried to make sure that I was thinning some of them out. But because my background color is so dark, I thought a little bit of blending probably isn't going to show up all that much. So my colors aren't quite as intense as Catherine's are. I absolutely love that like bluish teal that she has. I think that just pops so well. Mine don't really stand out quite as much, and I could have done one color, smeared it, let it completely dry, come back, kind of, sprayed it and smeared it again if I wanted, and really intensified those colors, or maybe used gesso on my paper. But it kind of looked like she had used a background paper that isn't white, and so I really wanted to do that too. And yeah, I don't usually have the patience for gesso. Is that is that the right thing to say? And drawing also isn't always my forte. But I love the way that my background turned out, and I think it definitely hits both the Get Messy theme from Rediscover Your Stash and the grunge theme from How to Kill a Kit with Style. So, and that was really the main inspiration that I took from that layout, was just those really fun acrylic smears. So that is all done. I also did a few little splatters with the white Heidi Swap Color Shine. It does not show up very well, but what it does do is it just gives a little blotch of kind of like a lightened color. It's not really an opaque white, but it has the shimmer in it. And then I took out another shimmer spray and just kind of sprayed the entire thing, so it has just really fun like little pockets of shimmer and stuff like that. So I just thought that was fun and different, and I figured since I have to wait for the page to dry anyways, I might as well just go ahead and get a little extra glitter in there. So I popped that page over to the side to dry and went ahead and matted my photos. As you can see, I did use a little bit of dimension to pop them up. And now I'm just going to go through all of the ephemera that I have. There's journaling cards, there are chipboard pieces and stickers. There's even some flair in here. It's all from Cocoa Vanilla, from the Legendary collection, the No Limits collection, and the Boys Rule collection. I don't think I end up using any of the Boys Rule stuff, but some of the Legendary stuff and some of the No Limits. Or maybe, oh no, I do use some of the Legendary stuff. So once I kind of pulled a few of those pieces out, now I have to sort of figure out how to arrange this, because unlike Catherine, I have two photos that are little squares, but they're still kind of wider than her picture. I guess I could have probably put them one on top of the other. That was a possibility that I didn't really think of at the time. I kind of liked having them one beside the other. And then I also want to do something up in that top corner, that top left-hand corner, that has some sort of larger word in it, just like she has in her layout. So the one thing that I did notice is she has the pictures, and then she kind of has like a quote on the side, on the left-hand side of her photo. And so I decided to grab this journaling card, and that would kind of represent my quote. But instead of actually picking one that had some words on it already, I am just going to write out the joke that is on my little guy's t-shirt. So on the front of the t-shirt, it says, "Guess what?" And then when you turn him around, there's a little chicken down at the bottom of the t-shirt. So the joke obviously is, "Guess what? Chicken butt." So that's what I've written as my kind of quote, just like where Catherine has hers. And then you can see I've kind of staggered things and squished things together, because this is going to end up kind of going all the way across the bottom rather than being all over on that right hand side. So I'm totally okay with that. I'm still kind of putting it down in the lower half of the layout like she has. And then it looks like there's a little bit of stamping, or maybe something. It could actually have been already on the background paper. But I thought just to get that same sort of feeling on mine, I pulled out the stamp set that is from the same collection as that background paper. So the background paper is from the Later Skater collection from Close to My Heart. And I also have the stamp set, and it has a really fun kind of, it's almost like little bubbles or circles. Border stamp is what I would call it. It's a long, narrow stamp. And so I just kind of used my finger and put that around very messily in a couple of places just to have that same sort of feeling. You see it particularly in that top right hand corner of Catherine's layout, and so I kind of wanted to capture that same feeling. And then it looks like she just has a little bit of embellishment. I think there is some stenciling or something kind of beautiful up in that top left hand corner, but my layout was getting cramped, I feel like, because it is smaller and there just wasn't as much real estate as on a 12 by 12. And so instead of pulling a texture paste and trying to add something in there, I just thought if I could find a couple pieces of ephemera that I thought kind of looked nice and worked. And so I looked for something that maybe had a circular feel to it, and then the banner that says fun kind of had that same feeling as the word. And so I was looking more for things that gave the same impression rather than exactly mimicking what Catherine has in her layout. So this is what I came up with. I also thought that the orange was a nice contrasting color to all of the greens and blues that were in the layout. So I pulled out oranges specifically, thinking that those would really catch your eyes. So I've got a couple of banners. I found a bunch of tickets. I thought that was kind of fun. So I put some tickets as layers behind the photos, and then a little chunk of the ticket up at the top. And I just wanted to give that impression of a diagonal line. Oh, I just turned my light on. It was the sun. It's so funny. It stays light out for so long, but as soon as the sun is ready to dip, it just goes dark instantly. So turned my light on there. That's why there was a bit of a flicker. But I wanted to give that diagonal impression that you get from Catherine's layout. Even though my photos kind of span the whole bottom of the layout, I still wanted to give a diagonal. So that's why I kind of tucked the banner with the star over to the left-hand side a little bit, and then that circle kind of moved it in slightly with the word epic and the word fun kind of in slightly. And then I pulled out these little phrases that I thought would be really cute and kind of again moved those down just a step, and so you get sort of that diagonal effect, even though my photos don't necessarily give you that effect. So once I got all of those pieces of ephemera and stickers and everything tucked into place, all my cute little layers, I'm going to finish it up with some sequins because I love sequins. These are the Child at Heart sequins from Wild Whisper that were created by Jody. And that's my layout for this month. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please click subscribe if you haven't already. I'm almost at 2,000 subscribers and I absolutely love, love, love the support. Go check out all the links down below for everyone else playing along. And until next time, happy scrapping. Bye. Thanks to me to my channel.